This is a Husqvarna 262Xp chainsaw. This come to me free. It's a work in progress, you might say. Pretty nice beefy saw with a 20-inch blade on it. Little history about this saw. My nickname for it is Bulldog. The guy that used to own this saw owned a tree cutting service. So I think this saw has seen quite a bit of use. And it's kind of a story how I came to get it, but I didn't pay anything for it. I basically had it about maybe 4 to 5 years, and I've got another saw, a Husqvarna 50, that I use all the time. So it's just kind of one of those things that got set to the side, and you get busy and you don't ever get back to it. You can see this saw came from Amix Superstore, which is a Husqvarna dealer. I don't know much about what was wrong with it or whatever, but when I got it, there was no pull cord on it. The only thing I've done is put a pull cord on and determined that I had no spark. So on this video, I'm going to be trying to determine why there is no spark on this saw. So let's open it up and take a look. Okay, the way I determined I have no spark is by using one of these spark testers that you can get at a Harbor Freight or any auto parts store. To get this top off, you just pop these clips. You just take a screwdriver and just pop them back. You'll have 4 of them. And your top will come off. Okay, we're going to have one of several things going on. Either this boot's going to be bad, the spark plug could be bad. This also has a kill switch right here. Now, this switch will go bad. That's a known failure in some of these Husqvarna saws that have this type of slide switch like that. So we need to test that switch. Also, there's a wire that runs from this switch to the coil, which is behind this starter housing. Okay, to get this top off will be 4 Phillips head screws. There'll be one right here, one right here, one right here, and this top will lift off. Okay, to get to our kill switch, we've got to take off this choke lever to the carburetor, which just pulls right out. And I already see my problem right now. I've got a wire off of there. There's supposed to be an electrical spade on there, but evidently somebody has soldered the wire there, but it's come loose. Okay, well, now normally this wire being off the switch wouldn't necessarily kill your spark. It would kill your ability to kill the engine more or less, because what this switch does is provide a ground for the coil, and that in turn kills the spark. Probably what was going on here is this wire was probably grounding out against something metal under here. And normally when these switches go bad, that's what will happen. You just won't be able to cut the engine off, and you know, just using the choke on the carburetor to kill the engine, that can't be very good for it, and you don't want to be doing that. Okay, to get this switch out, you're going to have a mounting screw right here. Take that out. And then there's two little tabs on the end of that switch there that come out that you'll have to press in, and then the switch will come out. Okay, I just got a old Radio Shack digital test meter here with the continuity on, so I'm going to check my switch. And I don't hear no beep. Now when I slide the switch to the on position, I should get a beep. So I know my switch is good. So a lot of times what happens when you put these tops back on is these wires will sometimes get caught up. Like you can see the spark plug wire's probably been caught up in the top here before too. So I'm looking at my kill switch wire, and it looks to be there's some bad places in it, so I may want to replace the whole thing and then go with some of these, they're Dorman spades, 83446. This is what one of them looks like. So those should slide onto my switch. Since I'm replacing my wire, I'll need to get to my coil. You'll need to take 4 screws out of this cover. Okay, you can see here as I've been fooling with this wire, it's come loose from the spade. And there it is. So yeah, this whole wire needs to go. Baked, deep fried, and baked. Yeah, I think this wire's seen its better days. So I've got me a new length of wire. I'm going to crimp my ends on. Okay, I'm going to connect my new connector here, my new spade connector, to my switch, and then reinstall that. Okay, I'm going to feed my new length of wire through with my connector installed. Pop my switch back in there. Remember, we had a Phillips head screw that goes in there. That's our switch reinstalled. Okay, I'm going to run that under there like that. I'm going to try to come in with my, where my spark plug wire is clamped down here. and come on down to my coil. Okay, I got my wire running with my coil wire here. Now I'm going to attach my other electrical spade. Okay, now I just have to connect my kill switch wire at the coil here. Get a little screwdriver to aid me here. Okay, and that's my new wire run for my kill switch. Okay, now I'm going to reinstall my cover, making sure I don't compromise this wire here. I think I'm okay. As long as it moves freely like that, you're okay. It's not being crimped behind this panel here. Now I'm going to tighten my Phillips head screws back up. The guy that previously owned this saw owned a tree trimming business, so I can imagine this saw has seen quite a bit of use. These Husqvarna saws, though, you get them running right, you can't beat them. I think they're the next best thing to a Stihl, probably. Some might argue with me about that. They're both about the same, I think. Now your choke switch is going to connect back in there. It's going to sit right in that slot right here. Okay, even though I fixed my kill switch wire, like I say, this saw is a work in progress, and that I got 4 years ago, and I've never really successfully got this saw to fire off. I pretty much know that this carburetor is going to have to be taken off and be cleaned out, or probably rebuilt more than likely. But the first step would have been getting spark back in this thing, so hopefully this has fixed our problem. Now, had this been the coil, you would have had to have did a lot more work to have fixed your spark problem. And if you needed to, you could replace this kill switch. And this is the number for that kill switch. So if you did your test and the switch was no good, this is the part number to replace that. Okay, with that done, let's see if we have spark now. Well, when I went to do my spark test, my piston was getting stuck at the top of the cylinder, so I'm going to let that soak in some marble mystery oil, and then I'm going to try the spark again. Like I say, this is a work in progress with this 262XP. Okay, I've let that sit in marble mystery oil all night, and I think I've got the engine freed up now. I've cleaned off my spark plug and replaced that, and hooked up my spark tester. Let's see if we got any spark. Okay, well that's restoring spark on a Husqvarna 262Xp. Just the first step in getting this work in progress running. And it turned out my problem was a defective kill switch wire to the coil. And this broken spade, electrical spade. And someone had actually soldered one end to the switch there. So we got that repaired, and that's step one in getting this thing running. And next I'm going to be looking at the carburetor. I know this thing's not going to fire off and run, and really I don't want to do that yet until I inspect the clutch and all that stuff. Alright, well I hope this helps you get spark back in your Husqvarna. Thanks for joining me.